Get ready with me, Amandla.
Oh god, skip like at least the first 50 seconds, please.
Okay.
The 50, 50, 50, 50. Keep going, keep going, keep
Oh,
going.
just block.
He's
Hold
like,
on.
more.
Okay,
So she's
so
like, we could skip at
pretty
least 8 minutes
stand
to this.
transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me.
Mm-hmm. It
Of
wasn't for
course, I
me either.
live in the bubble of my own reality, but for
To
those
see
who
that
aren't
that
aware,
that
there's
shows you
been
everything that you need to know about her. I'm in the bubble of my own reality. She cannot
She doesn't
perceive
care.
another person's perspective. The way she sees the world is everyone is in their own little bubble, their own little universe, with their own reality and their own truth. Because she can't actually understand that there is a reality when you're all living it and you all have a shared perspective. She can't imagine somebody else's perspective.
Well,
Only her
and
own mind.
to put that on top of that, like she's lived such a privileged life, like
Mm-hmm.
being part of a really good family, two mom and dad households. She's forgotten that she's Swedish for the power and for dad or whatever. And that she lives
Danish.
with Danish thing. Like
Oh, here we. Oh,
not the unwealthiest human beings. Like you
Oh no, they were rich. She went to
they're
I think it was
rich.
I think she said a
a
private
prep
school.
school.
There's a
Like
clip of her going. There was this world and language of like wealth and whiteness and privilege that I had to
I mean,
learn and adapt to. It's like you were raised in it. You didn't adapt to
like
anything. This is who you are.
she has said that her mom was able to bring her to a bunch of auditions. I'm sorry if that
Mm,
doesn't say that you're privileged. That I do not know because like my mom like has like dropped everything that she could for me to go to a bunch of like our hobbies, like swimming, karate, all this. And I know what she went through and they didn't come from a place of privilege with money. So if you come with money, like I know
I,
what she's probably been through in that
I'm
sense.
I'm pretty sure in one of the interviews it said her career started when she was doing Disney stuff at age 4.
Age
So
4,
she won't even remember it. Like that's how long she's been in the industry.
like, that's
She's
the wild
always
part.
been this.
You hear
She's
like
privileged.
some
Mm-hmm.
celebrities talking like, that did stuff when they were kids and they would talk about the struggle of like just being able to go to auditions and affording it. Like, oh, my mom had to work an extra job. She had to this or that. Like my dad had to take off and like we were struggling. I hear a lot of stories like that because all these podcasts now with celebrities going on them and stuff. So yeah, that's very privileged that she was able to go to a bunch of auditions and you said private school? This Brew,
The
she's
Yeah.
in private
Okay,
school?
if
Yeah.
she went
I
to
can't.
private school,
I think
I'm
she
sorry,
said like
that's
an
like 10
American thing.
grand a year at least.
I can't
Yeah.
remember whether it said private or prep or something like that, but it was essentially a private school in English terminology.
10 grand at least.
a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and when no one had
Pause that.
anything.
Because of what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. You brought out that this is an all-female show. What are people supposed to react to that? Star Wars isn't all female. They have
It was
females.
Yeah, but it's not
Star
all.
Wars is very patriarchal. There's no good and evil. This is going to be a woman-centered world with a woman-centered figure, a powerful leader. Yes, yes. Like that was just Star Wars Celebration. And I think Ryan was saying even before that, Leslie Headland was kicking off because there were interviews with Amandla and Leslie Headland where they were talking about I think it was Frozen and how Frozen is queer coded, and so what she wanted to make was a queer coded show that could be shown to children
Queer coded.
around their family, but they would also be able to identify it with them themselves. Yeah, that and because she kept talking about how that was Frozen was that, and that was her inspiration. And then
Frozen, was
later,
that why? Because Elsa's not with a guy?
I don't know. I've never watched Frozen.
I've seen the
Um,
first one, and I don't honestly, I didn't. The
Is
hype
it queer
didn't hit
coded?
me.
I
I
tried
don't
to
think
buy.
so.
I tried to buy like the DVD once, but I just couldn't get it home. I kept letting it go.
Let
Oh
it
my
go.
god,
Yeah, Amanda, let it freaking go. Like the
that's
show itself with
ridiculous.
Disney. But like that's the funny part is like she thought that like people were attacking her. No, the show pretty much revealed itself before the show came out on what it was about. And it
Yeah, the
wasn't for
agenda.
OG Star Wars fans. And I mean, I'm not an OG Star Wars fan in that sense, but I could tell the writing on the wall.
Yeah. No, the thing
Well, I
is,
don't understand.
they're just like they don't want to talk about why people were actually mad about it too. They took, especially after seeing what they did with it. I didn't watch it, but I watched videos and heard enough because I had no interest in it. But they're taking what OG fans or just fans of the original, you have to have been a fan when it first came out. You know, there's new fans to Star Wars, the old stuff, the good stuff, but you're taking it and you're changing the story.
Mhm.
And that's what people were
Bastardizing
mad.
it.
Yeah, that's what people are mad about. It's like they don't care that you're a girl or that it's about girls. Like if you wanted to make if she wanted to make this story, it didn't have to be Star Wars. She could have done some witch show. There you go. Cool. Maybe it would appeal to another audience that's not Star Wars fans.
Well,
It's
that's
just
what
so
no, that's what it is. The Acolyte did appeal to an audience that aren't Star Wars fans. That's why no one watched it, because they're off watching something else that isn't Star Wars. Their mistake was they thought they could get this audience that watches like Twilight and Cinderella, you know, like Shad.
Vampire
They thought they
Diaries.
could get him into watching the Acolyte. Yeah.
Don't you put Cinderella with Twilight, okay?
Oh, it's all based around shipping.
I'll put Vampire Diaries with this. Like, I love Vampire Diaries. I love
like
the
Vampire
originals.
Diaries.
I love the whole world. It felt like that, but a very bad version of it.
Oh yeah,
Because
the acting was not good in this.
it's not even about the acting, it's about the content. Like, I love shipping, the idea of shipping two characters to come together and go into a relationship, but I wouldn't think about that with Star Wars. It's
No.
not the motivation of me wanting to watch
That's because Star Wars is a
whatsoever.
male property, whereas that's a female instinct to
Absolutely.
ship things. But
Yeah.
that's the whole point. That there is an audience for the Acolyte. They did make a show for an audience that would like it. Just that audience doesn't care about Star Wars. They don't care
Yeah.
about men swinging lightsabers and blaster bolts at things. They're watching Bridgerton. Like, if you made this show and you just had them all in fancy houses wearing dresses and they danced occasionally in
Or
song,
vampires.
the Acolyte would have been incredibly successful. Like, the same story put in a different universe and a different IP would have worked, because you would have got the audience. But they think they can make everything this. And it's because Kathleen Kennedy has no place being in charge of Star Wars. Leslie
No.
had no place. Amandla Stenberg, no
Absolutely
place
not.
No.
in it. Because they make shows for them. But they don't, they're not the people that like Star Wars. So,
They should be
like,
on CW making their
Which,
whatever
I mean,
shows.
CW didn't
CW
do
did
very
it better
well.
than the Acolyte did.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Because
And
at
Vampire
least
Diaries
CW
is
talked about
CW.
CW
Yeah, no,
talked
I
about
like
at
some
least
CW
actual
shows.
emotions and interpersonal relationships. The Acolyte couldn't even do that properly.
It's
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Well,
so they're
let's-
caught between like a rock and another rock and trying to make a show for both rocks, and they did not do it
Well,
correctly.
I don't think they're trying to make a thing for both rocks at all. I think it went hyper specifically after like the Bridgerton audience. I don't
But
think
they
it
made it
tried
Star
to
Wars
appeal
and it
to
was
like
Under the
the
guise of the
male
other
Star
rock.
Wars demographic at all.
yeah.
And that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudiced hatred, and hateful language towards us.
You don't like the show because we're women and you're raised.
She-
That's I don't understand how they don't like catch. I mean, it's got to be on purpose at this point, but maybe not. Maybe they're just that stupid. I remember
I think
growing
she's
up
that
when
stupid.
we like if
she
fans
is. She
didn't like
couldn't grasp the English
something,
language.
if fans didn't like something, they would change it. If it was like a show, I remember polls used to come out. Like, here's an example. Like for Boy Meets World, I think it was Boy Meets World. They did a poll. It was like there was no internet stuff yet, then not as big as it is now. But they asked the fans if they wanted to see Corey and Topanga get married because they wanted the fans' input on it. And if the fans would have said no, they would have changed it. Like they actually. It's so crazy to think that they used to actually cater to fans that were watching this stuff. Now, if you don't like it, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're this and that. And it's just so ridiculous to me. Like, just make good content, make something that's worth watching, and maybe people will stop complaining so much about it.
Lots of shows have had this, where I can't remember what it was. It was like some CIA show. Well, I think Alias even had this and all kinds of stuff, where they'll have like the main bulk of the episode and they'll do all the spy stuff, the action stuff, they'll do all the intrigue and everything. And then like just towards the end, there'll be like maybe 2 or 3 minutes where there's just like emotions in hallways. They talk about something. Supernatural did it. At the end of every hunting thing, there was always that scene in the car where the brothers spoke about their feelings and then the thing ended. And I think they
Yeah.
even joked about it at one point, said the fans will lose it if they do that. But I think that's all it needs, because that's all the women. It's like, that's how shallow these people are. That's literally all they need, because they probably don't even comprehend the rest of the episode anyway. But you can't build an entire episode out of something so shallow, because then it just all appears shallow, and it appears to a very few amount of people. So this stuff used to be in TV shows, but it was done as an afterthought. It's like, those people want it, we'll just stick it in anyway.
Yeah,
But
it
you
wasn't the
can't
whole
build an IP on it.
identity. Yeah, like their whole identity. Like we've said this before, but in the 90s, there were shows that had, gay people, and there was definitely, it wasn't like there's only white people in shows too. Plenty of mixed, diverse stuff
That's an
going on.
American hang-up.
Even before the 90s, though, like in the 80s, like it's been a thing. So nowadays, to just call it like, oh, you don't like this because the lead's black or because the lead's a woman, that's such bull, and it's so
She's
ridiculous.
Danish. Who hates the Danish?
She's Danish.
I love
Come on.
Danishes. Cherry cheese Danish is great, but I think the big problem is, at least in most shows and most games that I've played recently, I cannot root for the main character because you didn't make me like the main character. Your only reasons for me liking this main character is their color, their sexuality. Like, I can't root for someone just based on that.
Yeah,
Give me some
that's what it's
characteristics.
like.
Characterize your characters. It's ridiculous.
When nobody gets mad, and they never want to point this out, even recently, if something comes out and there's like a trans character or like a gay character or whatever, if that's not their whole identity, if their whole character isn't based around that, it's like they just are, but we're not really focusing on it, and they have good writing and their character is just an interesting character to watch. Nobody's hating on that, but they never want to talk about that. So immediately, like this, she's a black woman, so that's why they don't like the show. No,
Well,
that's not why. So stupid.
Remember, the Acolyte started off and it had one sister good, one sister evil. And you're like, oh, okay. So either the good one will win or both of them will end up good. No, both of them ended up evil. They ended up murdering her teacher. All of her friends died and she got with the one that killed them all. And I still remember the Collider interview where she goes, it's so amazing. I couldn't believe Saul did that to you. Even when you were killing him, even when you were strangling the life out of his throat, he still couldn't let you do it. He couldn't let you have a decent, satisfying kill. He had to say, I understand. This is benign sexism. And I'm like, you're the problem. That ideology.
That is a problem to look at that death scene. Like, if I looked at,
He couldn't even let you kill him right.
Saul was like,
he was sexist because he wouldn't let you kill him in a satisfying manner.
Saul was like, I'm so subservient to your womanism that I'll let you kill me. And of course, I see that as a problem.
Yeah, it was basically, you didn't suffer enough for my pleasure.
Yeah, so here's more suffering. My suffering for you. I'll serve it on a platter. And for her, it still wasn't enough.
But what the thing about what she did, right, and you see this all the time, they just start listing words, because to them, words are magic spells, so I've used this word, now you have to shut up, right? So they think if they just add more words, it gets more powerful. So I've called you this slur, this slur, this slur. That's not how the English language works. It is far more impactful if I call you a small-minded, diminutive little woman than if I just start listing things for 30 seconds. It is far more powerful just to be like, I wake up every day glad I'm not you, than like just say all this other stuff. Oh, you all these phobias. Oh.
I mean, I would understand that if she had a reactive way to kill him because he said mean things to her versus just kill me. What? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Not even a good sacrifice.
That's the only episode I watched, and I was just like, it was so. I'm like, this is the finale. Like, no wonder it didn't get renewed. The finale was so lackluster. I know I wasn't following the story, but I watched Disparu's videos, seen enough stuff on Twitter to get the gist of what was going on with this show, and I was just like, what even is this?
But her acting in that scene was incredible because it was
the same as her other acting skills. She was happy, upset, and all that all at once.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mix of stoic and constipated.
Bravo. She should get an Oscar for that one.
I think she showed more range in this video than she
ironically, yeah. And in a dance track.
coming back to what I had said before about, trying to cater to the fans, which I don't know, it makes sense because the fans kind of like give you money, but I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. It's the fact that they blame fans now. It's like, how dare you not like our show? You're the problem. Like, you didn't like it. That kind of thinking is so retarded.
What was
Was
the Charlie's Angels title? Like, this show was not made for you.
Yeah.
Why didn't you watch the show?
Well, that's the point, right? Generally, whenever you say anything, there's a reason, right? There's a point you're trying to get. There's something you're trying to achieve. And so you like this is there's a whole thing in writing where the answer is like, so what? Okay, so tomatoes are red, but so what? Does that tell the reader anything? If not, you should remove it because it's pointless information. So when she goes like, the audience is toxic, it's like, yeah, but what do you want to happen from that? You're insulting the audience, but what is the result that you want to achieve? Because it's not going to get them to watch the show. So what are you doing? And the only conclusion I can come up with is it's her way of like essentially protecting her ego. My show failed, and so if I blame the audience, it means it's not my fault. So that saves me. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't save your career. It doesn't save Disney. It doesn't save any money. All you're doing is protecting yourself and your own
That's all she
self-esteem.
cares about, though, is herself.
Yeah. Well, this is why when she said, when it's so eye-opening when she said, I live in a bubble of my own reality. It's literally, I'm a self-enclosed being in my own world, and I literally can't comprehend anything outside my own brain.
This is what happens.
She's the epitome of small-minded, like, solipsism.
She's small-minded.
This is what happens when you grow up on the internet and you get like, you start get all like frothing at the mouth when someone disagrees with you or doesn't like something that you like. I've never understood that. Like when people get so offended if you don't like something they like, or you dislike something like, or you like something they
You don't
dislike.
like coupling.
I didn't say that. I didn't see. I know, right? And people joke about it, but it's like if like I don't like something, like when I say I'm not into Harry Potter, and I know some people are probably joking, but they're like, oh, Blad's probably so mad. I'm like, she doesn't care.
Read another
actually.
book. That's my only thing. If you've read 2 different series, fair enough. But if Harry Potter are the only books you've ever read, and you're a massive Harry Potter, that's a problem.
You need to. Well, I think that
Read another
people
book.
literally put the show as their identity. They're like, this is who I am truly, because as they say, you could put yourself in this character since you're a black, non-binary, all those trans, whatever.
She's been everything.
category.
No, nobody knows what she is. There's literally on her Wikipedia page, it lists out what she was at different times, and at one point she changes it like 3 times in 6 months.
Yeah,
Like,
but they get offended.
It's not serious.
No, they get offended because that's why, like, they feel like you've just dissed them because they put themselves
I'm European.
in that shoe.
It's my job to offend the Danish. It's my job to offend all of Europe.
She probably doesn't, like, she probably doesn't consider herself Danish.
Why do you think I
No.
keep calling her Danish?
Because he wants to offend her.
It's
and
the
that's
half of her.
great.
that
Hello,
she wishes
American
she
Wicked.
It's the
Hey.
half of her that she is so ashamed of she never mentions it because it doesn't get her anything. It doesn't give her any privilege points. It doesn't make her a victim, and so she never talks about it.
Because she never gets anything from saying she's Danish, so she'd rather lean onto the other side of her. Trust me, if I could just say I'm Asian, I get everything, I would totally do it. But it's not the case.
Sorry,
Wow.
that made me laugh. I'm sorry.
That's why she married him.
Is there
really
anything
affected
even
me when
more
I
wor-
got
I can't hear you
the
with the video
job,
on, sorry.
because it's just not something. Even though I anticipated,
Yeah, there's like a
it
high-pitched
happening,
whining noise.
it's not something you
Yeah, I
can
can't hear
see
you,
as
whatever you said,
personal
Wicked.
until it's happening to you.
What?
Yeah, it's
Say
like
something.
there's like this grating,
No, it
whining,
wasn't
pitching
important.
noise that overrides you.
There was a section where she calls the fans hateful, blah blah blah. I think we basically got all of it.
Within
And
the
there's one where
large
she basically licks
massive
Leslie Headland up the a-hole.
Yeah,
she's
that
like,
part where she's like, love her. And I'm like,
oh my
Mhm.
god, she's
That's
like my
right at the end.
bitch.
that's my
Mhm.
ride or die. We're gonna do so much more together. She didn't say that, but
Oh my god, that's a
God.
great thumbnail picture.
Oh wait,
Oh,
Which one?
no,
It's
there's
dope
Chris Gores. Chris Gores is wild.
Even at a certain point, a lot about my
I think I missed it. It's not a bad one
That's
either.
okay. I mean, God, I feel like we've seen
That's a
enough of
good one.
this.
Yeah, we've seen enough. She's
Just pull up
What do you
Film
want?
Threats channel and just look at the thumbnail
Oh
he
my
made for
god.
it.
Okay, hold on.
Chris
He
Moore is
got
probably drunk at Dragon Con right now.
he got a
So.
great one. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my
It's like,
god.
that is an incredible clip.
Thank
Oh.
you, Chris Moore, for this thumbnail. That was amazing.
There we go. I went.
It's
like not
definitely
a
a
clue.
POV.
It's a good one.
Holy crap.